Perfectionism often disguises itself as productivity because you're not doing nothing. You're doing work. You're preparing. You're taking action. You're building things. But really, the truth is that we are using perfectionism as procrastination. Welcome to Girls Make Bank, the podcast show for women who want to learn the art of selling for business and for life. I'm Jack White, seasoned sales professional, entrepreneur, and owner of Honeybees Group. Come back each week to hear inspiring stories from some of our favorite business owners, learn how to take the ache out of selling, and make bank. We're all in this together, so let's get started. Perfectionism is sneaky because it dresses up like productivity, but it is not. It is something else. Today, let's talk about why you're busy, but you're still not hitting your goals. Welcome back to another episode of Girls Make Bank. Today, I want to get into something that is super real. This is for the girls who have been feeling very busy lately, but still not hitting your goals. I just finished reading Atomic Habits this month, and my goal is to read one book a month for this year, and I'm doing it instead of like scrolling on my phone. And there was a particular idea in Atomic Habits that has really stuck with me, and I wanted to unpack it in this week's episode. And the idea is that motion is not action. Now, this is really important when we are growing a business, especially when you're doing sales work, because making this habit shift can be one of the most important things that you do in your business. Now, motion and action sound really alike, but they're actually two very different things. So let's break down what the difference is. The definition of motion is when you are planning, preparing, organizing, or strategizing, but you're not yet doing the real thing that creates results. So it feels very productive because you're thinking, you're learning, you're building, you're improving. But the thing about motion is that it doesn't directly produce outcomes. So here's some examples. Here's what I mean. Motion is when you are designing a new offer, but you haven't quite launched it yet. It's when you are writing Instagram captions, but you haven't posted anything. It's watching sales trainings, but not actually reaching out to your leads just yet. It's brainstorming your next move without making any moves. We have all done lots of motions in our business at some point or another. And there's reasons why we default to motion type work. It feels safe. It's low risk. It avoids rejection. And it feeds our perfectionism. Okay. Stick to that word for a second, perfectionism. Now, let's talk about actions. Actions are what you take that are concrete, outcome-driven steps that put you out there, that create results, and that generate feedback, even if it's imperfect, even if it's not perfect, okay? So action is what actually moves your business forward. Now, this is the uncomfortable work. Actions feel scary. Actions don't always feel comfortable, right? We've talked about being uncomfortable quite a lot here, but actions are where the growth happens. So here are some examples of actions. Sending a pitch or an offer, launching that sales page, posting publicly, calling the lead, making the ask. Actions are very different from motions. Actions are important because they build momentum. They expose you to growth. They lead to clarity, and they're measurable. So motions prepare you, but actions deliver. I often fall into the trap of having a lot of motion in my business and sometimes not enough action. Let me give you a real life example. Last year, I spent many, many hours working on a new offer. The sales page, gorgeous. The offer, chef's kiss, perfect. Canva deck, great. Backend system that I paid someone to set up, so good. But do you know what I did not do? I did lots of motions. What I did not do is I did not send it to anyone. I did not talk about it. I did not invite anyone to join. I never actually launched the thing. So I had no sales, no revenue, just a lot of preparation, just a lot of motion. So I was deep into motion, zero action. And I kept convincing myself that I was just getting ready, that I was waiting for the right time, that it was like, oh, summer break, oh, holidays, right? But the truth is, I was stalling. I was scared that this offer wouldn't land. I was scared that nobody would buy it. And so I stayed in this motion phase of doing all of the preparation and all of the work because that's where I felt safe. I know so many women who have done the same thing and they spend a lot of time doing the motion. And here is the sneaky part about what so many of us suffer from, and that's perfectionism. Perfectionism often disguises itself as productivity because you're not doing nothing. You're doing work, you're preparing, you're taking action, you're building things. You're telling yourself that you're not ready. You just need one more tweak. It's almost there. But really, the truth is that we are using perfectionism as procrastination. It's essentially the same thing in like a cuter outfit. Okay. The more we rehearse, the more we revise, the more we prepare, what's actually happening is more time is just passing before we're actually doing anything. So we look very busy in our business, but we're not getting the results we want. So here is the big takeaway that I want us all to be aware of when we think about being busy and we think about motion versus action. And you've all heard this before. I've said it and heard it many, many times. Done is better than perfect. And good enough is often what gets us paid. So, here is the check in that I want us to do this week that I am going to be doing this week. I'm going to be scrutinizing every single thing I do and asking myself, is this real work or is it resistance work? Am I planning or am I procrastinating? Am I measuring myself by the amount of tasks I'm doing? Or am I looking at my outcomes to decide what is worthy of my time? I want us to look at our calendars this week, and I want us to look at where we're spending time. And I want us to look at the results that we are getting from the actions we are taking and the motions we are doing. Don't look at your vision boards. Don't look at your Notion dashboards. Don't look at your long list of to dos. I want you to focus on the outcomes because action creates momentum. Action creates clarity. I've said this before. You will not learn how to swim by visualizing it and writing about it. You have to get into the water. And so everything we do, I want to be in action. Here's what we're doing this week. Identify one thing you've been planning but not doing. Name the actual action, the things that touch people, that moves money, that builds momentum, and commit to doing it imperfectly. Commit to just getting the thing done. That might be sending out outreach, hitting publish on your offer, following up with a client that you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, don't wait to be perfect. Don't even wait at all. Do it scrappy, do it scared, do it this week. Do it now. In fact, stop listening to this episode and go do it. Here's what I want us to remember. Short and sweet. Motion feels safe, but it barely changes our business. I'm not saying don't plan. I'm not saying don't strategize. I'm saying don't get stuck there. Actions can feel scary, but it builds the momentum and the results that we want in our business. And that perfectionism is just procrastination in a cute outfit. If you are someone that has been in motion for too long and you are ready to take action on your sales, your profit, your sales systems inside your business, if you are ready to build something that is consistent and aligned, I would love to support you in that. This is the work I do with clients. I help you get out of your head and into action and to build the habits that will actually grow your business. So if that's you, if you're stuck in motion and you're not getting the results you want, send me a DM, connect with me on LinkedIn. Let's stop spinning. Let's stop sitting in motions. Let's start taking action. Let's start selling. Let's start making habits that are sustainable and drive the results we want in our business. If this episode has been helpful for you, please like, share, tell someone about it. It helps us get discovered, and I really appreciate it for you. I will see you next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Make Bank. If you like what you've heard, please remember to subscribe, like, and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Please review and share our show to help spread the word and help your girls make bank. And I'd love to hear from you. Connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram, or visit honeybeesgroup.co. Until next time, friends.